What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation, episode 38. My name is Matt, or 39, one of the two. My name is Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the Boston Bruin himself, Mr. Courtland Long. What's up, Kurt?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. No, I'm a little tired. Not gonna lie. I had a little hockey this weekend, but it's fine.
Yeah. On the ice, hitting sticks.
Sure. Yeah, I guess
Sports.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.
And of course, joining us as always is the PlayStation Hokage himself, Mr. Rice. Boy, what's up, Rice?
What?
Hold on, that was very good.
That just tickled me.
Yeah, that was like voice acting styles. That was good.
That just
like you should be in the next Ghost of Tsushima with that.
Just to give you a bit of like a visual for me, what just happened was, you know, this is what just happened for me. You know,
I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
That's like
that kind of worked out. I don't know how you doing, my friend.
I'm doing well. Doing well. It's been a bit of a
1 week since you
looked weekend.
Yeah,
because the kiddo is sick.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids in our community. They have this really like bad cough right now. So he's got that and the sniffles. Went to the doctors today, so got a puffer for him, hoping that the cough will be suppressed in due time.
Damn, dude.
But yeah, it's been a tiring one that way.
Hope the little one gets real better quick.
I hope you don't get. So my brother is in same community. His little one got that like norovirus or whatever.
Yeah, dude,
that's going around right now.
It's going around my area.
In your neighborhood. Yeah. I don't want to like dox you or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
no worries.
Yeah. But it is like I was in shock because I was just like, he told me like he lost 10 pounds in 3 days. It's like, what
dude. Well, because like people are just like bleh, bleh, bleh.
Yeah, so it's making you poop and puke at the exact same time.
It's coming out both.
Well, ends. Rice's community of Yellowknife must be really popping off right now.
Yes, sir.
On this week's show, we're going to be talking about PlayStation's live service efforts and everything that's come since then. We're going to talk about a bit of Astrobot and a little Until Dawn. So strap in, prepare thyself, and a little bit of PlayStation handheld. A little bit of that sprinkled in here to prepare thyself for the adventure of a lifetime. But before we do all that, Court, my dude, let's kick things off with you this week. What have you been playing? Because I feel like it's something that maybe rhymes with led Fedemption move.
Well, before we get into that, I got myself a PS5 disc drive, and I want to thank Gamer Graham.
You're welcome.
He tagged me repeatedly for this. Anytime he saw it, the first time he did it, I went in. I was minutes in, could not get it, and then the next time it was like very early in the morning, and not many people are awake, and I was able to get it. So it worked out in my favor.
Yes,
I ordered it on Best Buy, and it's coming on tomorrow.
That caught me so off guard, Rice. Just the lean back and the cube pop up.
Did you know on those things there's like a 12 move and it's like finished every time?
Yeah, I know.
And it works like no matter what it looks like, it'll be finished every time. So, anyways, I got
real quick. Shout out Gamer Graham. What a hero! This guy is just consistently lovely individual, fantastic person. Just one of the good ones, you know, one of the good ones.
Yes.
Anyway,
so I got it. It's coming finally, which is great. So I'm very excited because my copy of Gran Turismo is on disc. So I haven't been able to see what it looks like on the PS5 Pro. But I have been only playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I know it is 2025 and
still valid.
It's interesting because when I bought it, I had it on release and I could not get into this game at all.
Right.
And maybe it's because I'm older now. I'm okay with letting the horse like in between things. I'm just like, all right, I put it on cinematic and I just let the horse go and I'm good. And I can just put the controller down and do other things. And I'll finally get to my destination, like, 15 to 20 minutes later.
I have this image of you sitting there with like a cowboy hat on, like a thing of like a long piece of grass out of your mouth, like cowboy boots, as you're like kicking back, putting your feet up, like fake cigar out of your mouth. And alongside the grass as like this horse gallops on. This is the way I picture you playing it.
That is definitely not. I'm like in my PJs in a reclining chair with a blanket on my lap. But anyways, I'm really enjoying my time with it. I said this to Matt off air, but This game looks better than a half of the PS5 exclusive games that are made just for PS5 and made on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I looked it up before the show. They did do an upgrade for PS4 that changed FSR and put HDR10 in there. The game looks unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
They did just such a good job with this. Like, it's just stupid. Like, it has better puddles than half the games that have ray tracing. I just don't get it.
Yes,
good
the dynamic weather in it. Like, they've just done a phenomenal job with this game. I'm having a great time with it. I have my issues with it. The horse thing I've gotten over real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because we've played so many games since then that like make you do this type of thing. I'm like, whatever. I figured out the horse. I move on.
Mm.
The economics of the game and how to make money and so on and so forth, absolutely terrible. The holding down the start button or whatever button we want to call it on the DualSense to get to the map, because I can't press the middle, totally annoying. And you can't remap it to do that. So
you know what you should do? You should use your DualSense Edge and remap it anyway.
Yeah, but then you're remapping that button to there because the middle button does your cinematic mode. There would be way too much to do that. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't believe in me that much.
I do.
It doesn't make sense to make the cinematic mode that button, but whatever.
You
know what? It's Rockstar. They do what they do.
Yep.
I really like the gun combat. I've told Matt this. I've decided because there's a lot of games coming. I know there's a lot to this game, so I am just gonna play the missions and not get lost in hunting, because I did that for a little bit. I spent the whole day just hunting and getting pelts. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then I died when I had a legendary pelt. I was so angry.
They did great after you die, right?
No, they disappeared. They're gone.
They disappear.
They're gone. They're gone.
Gone. Anything you have, any pelts you have, or anything gone. When you die, it's over. It's gone. Very annoying. So, which is fine. It's not as annoying as like a Zelda game where you're like your weapons degrade as you're using them. It's kind of stupid.
Touche.
But you do have to clean your weapons. That's my boy. You do have to clean your weapons and such. People know this game. It's very good. It's interesting because before that I tried Callisto Protocol. I tried all these different games and they just weren't vibing. And then I got into this and it's fantastic. I'm not playing any live service games whatsoever. Division 2, all of it. I've just nope. I'm only playing this. I hop in. I'll play for like a half hour, 45 minutes. I get my fix and I move on. It's great. I'm having a good time with it.
Dude, I feel like for where you're at right now, especially because there's no imminent game on the horizon, you know you have time. You're going to kind of just sink into it and enjoy it. Like it's weirdly like chill for being a Rockstar cowboy simulator.
It's very chill. It's not. I was literally thinking that today. I'm like, it's not like Grand Theft Auto where it's just like fast paced, and even when you're driving the car, everything about this game is old man vibes. It's just like, don't worry about it. You'll get there when you get there. I found the aliens that everybody always talks about, like by accident. Like I was just happened to be in the building. I'm like, oh my god, this is the alien thing, and I walk in, and sure enough, the aliens come in. I'm like, this is great. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm very surprised because I truly did not like this game on launch.
Right.
Time and place, dude. Some games are like that. Like I told you last week or the week before, you have to adjust to it, and if you don't have the time and the bandwidth to do that, it's not going to click with you. And right now, you have time. You know what I mean? Until the next big game for you. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're. Yeah,
I got told
March. You're gonna finish.
Well, no, Civilization comes out next month.
Yeah, February. That's right.
I'm playing that game.
Yeah, Civ.
I just imagine Court with like the scruffiest facial hair and a cowboy hat. I don't know.
I shave. My Arthur Morgan. He has a clean shave every single time I go to the camp. I also my wife thought this was pretty funny. Anytime I go by any of the hotels, my man gets a bath. Like with fail. But I also pay the extra 10 cents and I get a rub down while I'm doing it. Like
as you should.
Are we kidding me? Like
as you should.
I'm a little bit pissed off. You can't get a reach around in the game, but like whatever. The amount of time she puts her hands into the bubble and she doesn't, go for it. Like it looks like she is, but no, it's like, not. You can't sleep with the horse. Like, come on now.
That's Red Dead for you. Rest, my dude.
Yes, sir.
What you been playing, my friend?
Yeah, man. I have
follow up the horror comment. Go with that.
Roll with that.
Well, I've been playing the Borderlands games still.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And it's interesting. When you play them side by side,
As in, like,
they're
literally screen beside screen, you have like 3 different consoles running, like a hand on each controller.
it's funny, man. Like I'll play like a few missions, probably like maybe like 2 missions each, and then switch to another game. And I don't know I don't know if I like knew this or most people knew this before, but like it does feel like the same game. Like it's clear that they had a formula, that
Mhm.
it worked, they followed it, and it was successful.
For 2 games. They didn't
For
follow it for the
2
first 2
games,
games.
exactly that, because I can tell, like, when they hit it out with that second game, it was really funny. It felt like, "Oh, man, we're back. We're right back into it. I want more of that first game." And then when you got to the third one, you're like, "Oh, this doesn't actually feel as good as it did the second time." So, yeah, I hope they did learn from this and
Do you
that
think that's the
Borderlands 4.
novelty wearing off, or do you think it's just not as good?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's both
Okay.
because maybe people's sense of humor is also changing,
Mhm.
right? Or,
Fair.
or rather growing, and maybe that old formula is not what consumers are looking for right now. And a lot of people who did play this game, they're older now.
Mhm.
Their tastes have changed, and I think that's just part of the journey. And so Borderlands 4 has to kind of hit it out of the park, make it different, and but still kind of retain the remnants of what it was, because it truly does feel like I'm playing the same game.
So, my opinion is 3 tried too hard.
Okay.
So, like, 1 and 2, poo-poo humor,
Mm,
lowest carrot, well done.
sure.
Like, went for the offside joke, and
Yeah.
we're okay with it because we know it's Borderlands.
Mhm.
In number 3, it's like they tried to, like, what's cool and hip. Like, they
Sure.
were
Sure.
Hans Moleman in The Simpsons walking in and saying "Cowabunga, dude." Like,
Yeah.
100% so bad. The
Mm,
jokes were just they didn't even land. Like, even the
mhm.
guns that had jokes in them, they nothing landed. It felt like every time I was just like,
Yeah.
"Why?"
Did it feel
There
like a
wasn't
Borderland?
that
Go ahead, Rice.
Sorry, yeah, there wasn't that, like, when you played that intro mission of 2, you're, like, right in there with Claptrap again, you're laughing your ass off, breaking the fourth wall. It's like, follow this big ass green waypoint on your map. Like, it was funny that way. And then the third one was like, "Yeah, let's do that more." And people are just like, maybe not. Let's have something new."
Do you think it was like a game trying to be like, as regardless of it being Borderlands 3, was it a game that was trying to be Borderlands and just not landing being Borderlands despite being Borderlands? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it trying?
Yes, yes, I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with that sentiment. It's like, um, it's almost as if they just, like, they copy and pasted the formula, thinking that it was going to be incredibly successful, like, and when people jumped on it, they were just like, "Oh, this is like the same stuff."
Mhm.
It is truly is the same stuff, but people played it because I think they were loyal to the series, and it got good ratings because of its following, not because the game itself was innovative or better than the previous.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to continue seeing your evolving thoughts as you continue to
It
Yeah.
play
feels
across
like a
the.
meh thought. Like, I just if
Yeah.
he's right, he's gonna be like, "Borderlands series, meh."
Eh, nah. I wonder how much of it is because you're also playing all 3 of them,
Side
you
by
know
side.
A
exactly,
lot.
right?
Mhm.
So it's like you don't have the time or space in between them
Yes.
to appreciate the downtime. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, and so my notes right now are very critical.
Mhm.
And so I think that when I get kind of into the meaty stuff, maybe the story a little bit, I'll be able to differentiate between what is truly substantially good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. All right, my friends. let's roll into some news. Let's hop on to that news caboose and take her down to News Town to our first major story coming up from the PlayStation blog themselves. We got our January premium and extra games. Leading the charge are God of War Ragnarok, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand, SD Gundam Battle Alliance, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Anno Mutationum, Orcs Must Die 3, Citizen Sleeper, Poker Club, and hitting premium is Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings and Medieval 2. Rice, my dude, how are we feeling about January's extra premium titles?
Dude, I mean, like, for those who are subscribers and have not yet experienced God of War, like, that's already like a huge win. That's a huge win for y'all. And so I'm excited for people to kind of get into that. That's kind of like a plethora of really cool titles in there. Like a Dragon. Have either of you guys played Atlas?
No, it was one that I was interested in, but then I remember reviews hitting and were pretty mediocre.
Pretty mid,
so, like,
right?
This feels like a good plus game. I just don't know when I would have time to actually check it out, given the onslaught that is starting.
I know. That's the other one that I was kind of like, ooh, kind of piques my interest, but there's just so much right now.
I love how you were like the onslaught that's starting, and I'm like, yeah, there's like one game.
Too many games. There's too many games.
It really is.
I mean, Gundam, just because like I've always just been a fan of Gundam.
Gundam.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I didn't play very many Gundam games. I'm just a big fan of the
idea of them
and the idea. Yeah,
Gundam style.
Nice.
Nice.
Well done.
Court, my dude, what do you think?
Well, God of War Ragnarok, one of probably the best games you can play on the PS5.
Yeah.
Without fail. It's just way too good. There's a lot of Matt games here, but there's a Matt list. Who are we kidding? But I'm gonna try out Indiana Jones. I've been trying a lot of the PS3, PS4 games that drop on here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
2009 on PS2 doesn't that like super late?
Yeah, but look, now they made it
cycle?
PS4, PS5. So for me, like I tried the Sly Cooper games. They were really good. So I keep trying them all because one, they're not hard and I can just play them while I'm like doing other things. So I'm okay with this list. Like, I look at this list as like, if there's one, and I've said this before, if there's one game on here I'm interested in playing, it's a win.
I was curious about this game, so I looked it up, and it has like a 55 on Metacritic.
Oh, it's terrible.
And there was a thread on our Indiana Jones on Reddit that like is asking, is this game worth playing? And the top comment says, I played the PS2 version back in the day, and as far as I remember, the story was half good. The gameplay was 100% pure crap.
Yeah. But I gotta play the new when Xbox drops starts dropping all their games on PlayStation, which starts off with Indiana Jones. I'll be right there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like like Xbox, you win. I'm the guy that's gonna buy your games.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna buy like one or two of them, but still, Fable and Indiana Jones, I am there.
Those are good choices.
You would 100% buy Halo and Gears again. There's no doubt in my mind.
Definitely not buy Halo. I am a known don't give a rat's patootie about Halo. I'm trying not to swear.
Dude, you should
better. Remember, I said I'm trying not to swear anymore. So
yeah, but rat's patootie sounds like you need to like spit in a can after you say it.
Anyways, I thought Halo Infinite was not a good game at all. I thought the gameplay was all right. The missions were literally the same thing over and over again. Take this energy cell and put it over here. The story was meh. The game looked great. It just felt like unfinished. That's all you were doing. Anytime you played a level, it felt like you're in the same dungeon over and over again. Nothing looked different.
Yeah, I would agree.
Halo 2 is a very good game. Halo 3 is okay. Halo Reach is, I don't know, it's just not for me. And it's so on and so forth. The Halo series, I don't think it evolved well enough. I thought Xbox didn't do a good job with it. And it's obviously because Bungie left and they went and made a better game called Destiny. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think the Gears series is better than Halo now. I think the last Gears was very good.
I think it's more consistent for sure.
And if Gears comes to PlayStation, I will be right there buying every one of them and playing them from front to back.
Can we
give a rat's? I couldn't care.
Can we make a gentleman's agreement here, Court? Can we co-op the Gears games.
100%.
And if there's 3-player, can the 3 of us play it? I don't remember if there's 3-player story stuff, but if there is,
later on.
Perfect.
Yes. And the later on games are good. So I am all for Gears, and you know what? I'm all for all these Xbox games coming, and I can't wait. Is it next week? Is it this week coming up when we get to find when all the Xbox people that like spend their
developer
living
direct
moments doing the "We own you" tweets, and then they're gonna have to wrap their heads around it's all coming to Xbox, and the amount of like because they virtual single all the like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna have to like say why this is such a good thing and how they're owning PlayStation by doing this, which is just gonna be hilarious. Because I couldn't care less where you play games on, but like every Xbox game is coming to PlayStation now. They're all coming, not just maybe. They're all coming.
Well, we're gonna be playing a good chunk of them because there are some good games looking in there.
Fable, dude. I'll say this to the people who have never played the Fable series: one of the best RPGs.
So good.
So good.
So good, man.
So good.
Hell yeah.
Horizon.
PlayStation Plus.
Unbelievable. What? Forza Horizon.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for Horizon. Yeah. PlayStation Plus, I think this is a great month. Like we said, God of War Ragnarok is obviously Like a Dragon Gaiden. This is for the fans of the series. This is for anybody who's never played one. This is not the one to play.
It's not the entry point.
Would this be the one I like then?
No. No, it's a fantastic game, but it's basically 7.5. So it's not the entry point. None of it will make sense.
There's lore that is important.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Matt's tried me to get to play like 3 of these games now, and they're just
Zero. You tried to play 0, and that's one of the best ones. And there was a lot of cutscenes. That's why you fell off.
And the new one.
You didn't play 7.
There's always a new one. Whatever. The one that was like first on Xbox was like advertised. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I've always been curious about Sayonara Wild Hearts. I might hop into.
I feel like that's a Mac game.
It feels like a nice little. It's a nice little indie. I've heard lots of things about. And Citizen Sleeper, one of my game of the years in 2022. I think the original came out.
Yeah, you love that game.
The second one is literally around the corner. It's coming out on the 31st. An incredible. Did you
put that in your fantasy critic?
You know I did.
Oh snap!
I drafted that on the show. I grabbed that real quick.
Right.
Absolutely
you didn't
incredible.
Need to do that. You could have grabbed it later.
No, but I wanted it.
Okay.
Fantastic visual novel with dice rolls and everything. It's incredible. The story and the writing for anybody who like loves a good story and like just fantastic writing. This game is one of the best. And that's kind of it for me. But
not Poker Club.
No, surprisingly not Poker Club.
I played poker in Red Dead for like 35 minutes. I'm like, I'm never gonna do this, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, it's a card game I know, and then I'm like, you gotta win 5 to get like, see, that's what it gets you with Red Dead. It's like, so I love Assassin's Creed, right? As you know, and Assassin's Creed has lists.
Yeah.
Red Dead has so many lists.
There's so many.
There's so many, and they pop up on the screen while you're doing it. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'll keep playing until I win 5 hands.
Yes.
There you go. Let's roll on to our next story coming from VGC because Astrobot is getting a surprise edition, potentially with more mystery cameo bots. It was previously assumed that Team Asobi had concluded its planned free DLC releases for the PS5 platforming following December's Christmas level. However, it seems that Asobi is not done yet. The game received 5 free speedrun stages as DLC, which were released weekly starting in mid-October. Now, a new speedrun level has been debuted during a PlayStation-held tournament over the weekend. Footage from the level, which you can see below, shows that it will use a time slot power-up and the flower, which allows Astro to float higher in the air. It's unknown when the level will be added to the game. And we don't have any confirmation about what bots are there, but assuming there's going to be bots there. More Astrobot coming is awesome. I liked a lot of the speedrun levels, and this is interesting that we're going to seemingly have 2 different powers in the same level because thus far it's only been one. So my question to you folks is, do you think this is just another one-off, or are they preparing like a Meteor expansion or something here? Could this be something in the works where we're going to get like a new world? Like what do you think Asobi has in store for us? Because they're clearly not done.
I'm twofold on this.
Tell me two things.
One, we could. Why does my volume keep going down? One,
oh my
we
God.
could. Sorry, it went down
so loud.
Yeah, I apologize, but like it was like on the lowest setting on my mic for a second there for some reason. Could we get a Mario? Could they be in the back making like a Mario Maker Astrobot so like we could start building levels, because they seem to be able to be bumping out these levels pretty
like
easily. Like, do
creative.
they have like an engine where we could start doing this? And then 2, I think because of the success of this game, yes, they have endless possibilities. This is kind of what we talked about a really long time ago, Matt, when we were like, you could do whatever you want with this. If Sony was smart, and
Smart.
this year they haven't been the best, but if they were smart, you could release a new world with every first party game releasing. So new Ghost of Yote comes out, you release a Ghost of Yote theme level, and you release all their bots. They could literally do this forever.
Yeah, they could,
because it's just Astrobot. It's not called whatever. It's just called Astrobot. So they could literally build off this like it's infinity, whatever they want to do with this game, and then work on whatever they want. But every now and then, we have the Wolverine levels coming out. Boom, 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 boom. And you're getting people to drop back into the game.
Yeah.
Play it. And it gives people a reason to be like, you got to keep buying this game, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much free content. You need to go buy this game. Never put it on PlayStation Plus and make people buy it.
Right.
Interesting. I love the idea of like a level editor. I think that makes so much sense, especially how much the speedruns popped off with how invested people got in running those speedruns, that like having it happen in a way where like we can make our own speedruns would be ridiculously cool. Bryce, what do you think? What do we got cooking from Asobi here?
Man, like we discussed before in an episode, that this has felt like a game that just keeps on giving. And I would agree. I would agree with Court. Like, as PlayStation IPs just kind of keep progressing and coming out, there is opportunity here. The potential is really endless. And so yeah, I don't know. I hope that people continue to purchase this game. For those who haven't tried it yet, like, they will be satisfied. Like, I'm so confident in this game. My son and I were playing it before today's episode. So like, I mean, like, we're fully invested. I'm just, I'm super excited for what the team has in store for the future, because I think, yes, the potential is endless. And to answer your question, will it be a meteor kind of expansion? I don't know. I think that like what they have been doing kind of at this pace is smart, and would keep the traction going.
See, I like this. I really love this idea of kind of like theming the worlds around new releases. I'm of two minds on that. I love it as a fan in terms of like, I would happily even pay $10 for a new galaxy. If Ghost of Yote is coming out, give me like 7 more levels or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like the full run up, the boss level, the themed level at the end of it. Give me the full run up, and I'd happily pay for it. And I'm curious what that would look like for a sequel for them, and like an Astrobot 2, because again, if they're able to keep adding to this, which I think is a brilliant idea, and they like, I would happily pay. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth from this game. I don't think
you can do an Astrobot 2. You just got to keep adding worlds and making people pay for
Seasons passes,
something like that. Like, that's why I'm curious as to what the plan is. But at this point, I hope they tell us soon, because I'd happily go for more.
Because like, I feel like they could do whatever they want with this game, right? You don't, because like, there's not a story.
There is a story.
It's celebration of PlayStation. Yes, sure.
No,
but that's what I mean.
Alien is an asshole.
You could do an Astrobot 2 and still keep this one alive almost.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Also, a way to flex like new things with the DualSense, because that also feels like, I mean, for people like me, super rewarding, because like that experience is so cool. And so whether that's new mechanics or like new powers or add-ons, like that would be so cool.
Astrobot 2 welcoming in Xbox, so you got to like build an Xbox.
This is gonna be Astrobot 2. This is an Xbox.
I can't wait for the commercial to be like, this is an Xbox, and it shows a PlayStation.
Yeah, just wait for it. Just wait for it.
It's coming.
Let's hop to our next story, coming from VGC. We got an interesting story coming from Andy Robinson. We didn't have resources. Former PlayStation boss explains why Vita struggled and what could be next. Shuhei Yoshida was actually on Kind of Funny. He was on PS I Love You, I believe, and he was basically shared a lot about a whole bunch of stuff.
PS I Love You doesn't exist anymore.
PS I Love You doesn't exist anymore. Was it Gamescast?
Gamescast, yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
PS Vita launched in 2011 as a successor to the PSP. However, despite being generally well received by critics and some beloved games like Tearaway and Gravity Rush, it's thought to have sold less than 15 million units before its discontinuation in 2019, 65 mil fewer than its predecessor. Speaking in his first interview since quitting Sony last month, Shohei Yoshida, who was in charge of PlayStation's first-party studios from 2008 to 2019, told Kind of Funny he believed that there were quote-unquote multiple reasons why Vita didn't work. In the same interview, he also talks about some other stuff, but Yoshida went on to say several technical choices were made as a company. Didn't really turn out as good ones. One of which was the dedicated memory cards. You had to purchase a proprietary memory card, and that was a mistake because people have to spend more money to get a memory card.
It was so expensive for those stupid things.
They were stupidly expensive. The back touchpad was not necessary. Teams made amazing prototypes that felt good, which misled everybody thinking they would be great, but it was not, and those initial costs of the hardware. He thought the OLED was beautiful, but again, not something that it really needed. But he basically goes on to say, I think the biggest reason Vita didn't do as well as we had hoped, as we had split all our efforts and resources into two different platforms across the PS3, the PS4, and the Vita, we did not have the resources. Studios had to decide which thing to work on, and we didn't have that big a talent pool to be able to support two different platforms. Of course, console is the biggest platform. So he basically goes on to say, see, what I think is interesting here, I think since the Vita, I think PlayStation has almost become like the Google of the hardware space, of the console space. They went into PSVR, they went into the Vita, they didn't support it properly, it died on the vine. They went into PSVR 1 and then PSVR 2, put out these things, didn't support them properly, and died on the vine. There was fantastic tech.
Are you admitting PSVR 2 is dead?
Pretty much. I mean, Shuhei Yoshida pretty much said as much in the same interview. He's like, I'm sorry, it didn't work. It's like it's
they didn't support it.
That's what I'm saying. They like continually, Sony seems to be making the same mistakes of making fantastic hardware, doing like one game for it and then calling it a day and expecting that to just live anyways, where like Google is obviously famously known for doing a thing and then killing it, doing a thing and then killing it, doing a thing and then killing it. It's disappointing because it's like the Vita and the PSVR and the PSVR 2 all incredible. Like the actual,
I like the Vita,
same,
but I think it needed to be an extent. They also said it was an extension of the PS3 at the time, and it wasn't really. Like, I remember playing Assassin's Creed on it, and I was like, this just doesn't look good. It was chugging. It chugged hard. And I had a hard time playing. I think it was Black Flag, PS4. I think it was Black Flag. It just didn't play very well. If they brought it back out, I would still want them to have games that are just for it.
So time out, because I'm going to bring in a question, because I'm going to open a question because we have a question from Black Wyver. Hello, question for the show. With Switch 2 around the corner, albeit no real details revealed, what impact do you think it will be on the much rumored PlayStation handheld? So again, there's rumors now. They've seen that it worked with the Switch. They see the Steam Deck doing well. There is blood in the water now, right? Xbox is making a handheld. PlayStation is making a handheld. Are we in danger of them doing the same thing that happened to Vita? Are they going to put this thing out, not support it properly, and is it going to die again?
I think they're going to put out a handheld that's going to be pretty much, I think they tested it. I think the Portal is a prototype, and Matt bought it because it was on sale. I bought it, and I was like, this is not there yet. And everybody that wants to get on Portal Island, you can get on it, but the Portal is a prototype. And they wanted to see if the technology worked. And they were like, well, we've already built this thing that was going to be this handheld. Let's just put it out there and see what happens. I truly, truly, truly believe that it's going to be an extension of your console, and you're going to be able to play all the games from PlayStation Plus and everything on it, and it's going to be great. It's going to have trophy support, and they can still make proprietary games for it, cartridge-based, and put them out every now and then and not have to worry that the thing is going to die.
See, that's my question, though. Do you think they're going to make proprietary games for it?
Yes. Because they're Sony, they're going to try.
They'll make one or two.
They'll make some.
They'll make a couple. Rice, where you at?
100% they will.
I think that if we're kind of comparing this whole ecosystem to like the experience of smartphones, right? Like PlayStation, I feel like are are really innovative with their tech, especially of that generation too. And I think it was ahead of its time. It's like the Dreamcast, for example, something that was ahead of its time. It's not necessarily what consumers, wanted or thought that they would enjoy, but like much later on, they were like, oh my goodness, like this tech was way ahead.
There was an idea
And
there. Yeah.
there was an idea, and those needs just weren't needs yet. And so I think Court, you're onto something there, because even for me, I was like, I think I'm gonna actually buy a Portal. But that is so intriguing to me, because like, what if it's true that they are polishing that, they release that, people will jump on that so quickly. And I think right now, like, PlayStation has a premium seat in the competition.
I do think there's a lot of hope for this thing to come out and do well.
Sure.
I think, like you're saying, Court, I think they're going to need, because again, PlayStation has a habit of entering a market when it's already crowded. We're going to be talking more about that when we'll talk about with live service efforts. The PSVR stuff, an exception to the rule, but it's just too niche, right? Right now, handhelds are the new thing, right? Like,
they've been the thing for years. Nintendo's just good at it.
Well, no, but since the Switch, they've become the thing again.
To compete, were huge, man.
Yeah, but again, like that. But that's what I'm saying. But Nintendo had the handheld market on lock.
Yeah.
Up until the Switch came out, became successful. Now handheld PCs are also big. The Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, Lenovo's putting, like, everybody and their mother is now dropping a handheld. So PlayStation's going to need to say this is what works. I think if they can, because like God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, like all of these games are coming out on PC and they run pretty good on Steam Deck already. So if PlayStation's able to put out a piece of handheld hardware that's stronger, and if they're able to loop in their PSSR technology, which we've seen on the Pro does fantastic things, if they're able to do this stuff, there's a lot of hope that the games that will be hitting PS5 will run natively decently well enough handheld. But that is my biggest question.
Sure.
Here's my question for you, Court. Because the Vita, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale came out, right?
It was bad on the Vita.
It was bad on the Vita. Did you have to buy it twice? Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you think they're gonna do that again?
No. So this is why. I think because they're gonna give you cloud. So
oh yeah,
this new one is going to have, you're gonna be able to buy that. That'll be their sales pitch. Okay. So this is why I think that what they have going for them. Developers are already making Switch 2 versions of games. Why can't you just make a whatever the heck PlayStation calls theirs? Make a version, just port that over, because you're making this. That's what you're doing. You're porting. Like a lot of developers will make the PS5 natively for the PS5 and port it to Xbox, so you can port whatever game. Like, so say there's this niche game that's only being made for Nintendo, like a JRPG, and they could port it instead of it. You know what I mean? And have it for the handheld as well, and still have smaller studios. Hey, here's your thing. You want to make a big game for us? Prove it to us. Make one for this, and you can put it here, because you're not gonna have the power of the PS5 Pro. Like, you're gonna be PS5. Like, that's what this handheld's power is gonna be. So you're not gonna be able to make unbelievable games, but you could make like an Astrobot. You could make any of those type games or RPGs. You're not gonna be making your Spider-Mans and all that, but you'll be able to play them on it. But it's not gonna be like a cartridge. It's gonna be through the cloud.
But do you want to know what my argument is here? I don't think they're going to be making proprietary games for it, because if you're looking at the Switch, right? We're going to continue to use this as an example because it's the most prevalent one. Their console games are their handheld games, right?
Sure.
No, I get it, but
the thing is, if you're making a game for the PSP2, let's just call it that for the sake of the conversation, there's no reason why that wouldn't play on the PS5.
I get it, but what I'm trying to get at is, if they had a rumored handheld and it was just going to be cloud-based and there was no proprietary games, then we already have it. It's called the Portal. So
I don't think it's going to be cloud-based. I think it'll run the games. You can buy God of War from the PlayStation Store, download it directly onto the hardware like you do the Steam Deck, and play it on the go.
There's not enough hard drive space. You wouldn't be able to play a Call of Duty on that thing.
Of course you could. The Steam Deck, the Steam Deck is a terabyte on its biggest size. Easily, you could.
So
easily
you're
do
just
that.
telling me it's just an extension, so it's just a portal again?
It's your portal again, but now you don't need the connection to the PS5 to play the game.
Then I want mine, and I think that's absolute garbage.
That's what I think it's going to be. I think this is going to be
a piece of tech, portable PlayStation 5.
Exactly that. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
So it's a portal with native, but it's still the same because like the portal still runs the game just as good. You don't have to download it. I know people will cry and boo-hoo about it, but it still looks great.
But the portal, you need that connection to the PS5. This thing would sever that link. I as somebody who owns no PlayStation,
we all know that you can never sever the link to the PSN. Like that wouldn't
work.
Not
to PSN, to the PS5, right? For your portal to work, you need a PS5. You could buy this PSP2, never buy a PS5 in your life, and still be able to play the titles. That's what the point is.
It's a whole separate entity.
Exactly. So for them
to make, you could do both.
What do you? Yeah, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you'll be able to cloud stream on it.
Like that's what I'm saying. You're still going to get your PS5 games no matter what, but PS6 isn't going to be there unless you want to. Those will probably be cloud.
But they'll be dumbed down.
I can't see them not putting out proprietary cartridge-based games. I can't. They want that market. They want it in Japan. Like that matters. That market is huge.
I don't disagree with you, but then what's the argument for what if this game is coming out? Why can't I buy it on my PS5? What is the argument for it?
Oh, there is no argument. I get what you're saying. I totally. You're right. I get it, but at the same time, this is PlayStation, and are you kidding me? They're definitely going to make proprietary games.
Rice, what do you think?
I kind of agree. It's also just like a kind of flex at that point, though.
Yeah, it would.
You know what I mean? And that is a Sony move. That is a Sony move because it's like there is this kind of prestige associated with a name. Now that said,
I don't disagree.
That said, like I also agree with Matt in that I thought like this was going to be a separate handheld entity. You know, this is like PlayStation or Sony's. Sony's.
This is an Xbox.
This is a Steam Deck. It's a PlayStation Steam Deck.
Yeah, so Sony's Steam Deck, right?
Which makes sense. It's a PSN deck, right? Like you're downloading anything. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm sure there's going to be something to flex on it, though. Like there has to be. You know, whether that is the proprietary cartridge or whatever medium it is, or a feature that none of the other handhelds have.
See, that's why I think this thing's going to be digital only.
Interesting.
I don't think there's going to be any physical media.
Their new consoles are all digital only, right?
I don't think there's going to be any physical media for it.
Interesting. Okay.
Like like if people who want to collect their physical games, they're going to be solely disappointed in the next console generation.
100%
don't exist.
Yeah. Yep. That's where we're moving, though. I think I've accepted that.
We're not moving. I've been digital only for years.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're there already.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Disc drive so I could play my Blu-rays and stuff on this thing. That's why I bought it.
Touché.
See, because that's my major question is that like I have two things. If they're making proprietary hardware, proprietary software, they have to have a reason why you cannot play this on the PS5. There has to be a reason that they communicate to us as consumers, saying that like because before it was obvious.
What happened if you could, but it's just they're gonna make you buy it twice if you want.
That's my question. That's my question.
They would make you buy it twice.
If they make you buy it twice, that's hot garbage. If they,
you know what, Matt? That's the most PlayStation thing ever.
I don't disagree with you. That's what I was about to say. I would not be surprised if they make me buy it twice.
Unless this is what I'll say. Unless you buy it digitally.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing.
They'll tell you, hey, you want to buy this digitally, you get it all. So then people are going to buy the game so that they can, on their trophy thing, have it where
they'll still make you pay $10.
That's what I was about to say. They're still going to charge you like $10 more. They'll be like, this is the PlayStation Complete Edition, where for 100 Canadian dollars, you get the mobile version and the normal.
When the PlayStation 4 came out, they didn't do it so much on the PlayStation 5, but remember when the PS3 to PS4, we had to pay $10 upgrades for all the games? Remember that?
Yeah, they're doing it now with their PS5 editions.
But PS4, they did it more. Like I know we complained a bit, but if you remember, if you go all the way back to PS4, every game was $10.
Yep.
Every game, because what they did is they said, if you want the physical copy, you have to buy it on PS3.
And then
when you want it here, I want that $10 digitally. and you can put the disc in there. Like they were so smart about it. They made everybody do it. EA was like religious with it. So I think you're bang on, Matt. I think we do get, hey, here's your version for this, but you want the other one. It's gonna
but you want this one too.
Just give me $10. Just give me $10. It's no big deal. You can play it there, but just give me $10.
Because that's the interesting thing. I think like for any PlayStation first party stuff, like it's going to be that you're going to have to pay that $10. Everything else, you'll like. Hopefully, the PSN will be at a point where in the cloud.
If you want the dumbed down version of it, I want you to pay $10.
That's going to be what it is. I bet you any money. I bet you any money. Let's kind of use this conversation about first party and what PlayStation's doing to hop into our major story. Coming from VGC, Sony has canceled 2 more live service games, reportedly including a God of War title. This is coming from Chris Scullion. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that Sony's canceled live service games in development at Bend Studio and Bluepoint Games, a report which was confirmed by a Sony spokesperson. While Schreier's article doesn't describe the games in detail, he took to Bluesky to confirm that the game Bluepoint was working on was a live service God of War title. Sony spokesperson confirmed that both games have been canceled, quote unquote, following a recent review, but stressed that neither studio will be closed down as a result of the cancellations. Bend and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family, and we are working closely with each studio to determine what are the next projects. So before we talk about first party at large here, because that's the conversation where this is going to lead.
Because Matt has a very good point I want him to talk about.
We're gonna talk about this. But God of War live service?
Thank God they didn't do it.
What?
What was that? Like, why?
There's only one live service that we found out was canceled that I'm still pissed about.
Okay.
And that was Spider-Man.
Oh.
It was like perfect.
Like Spider-Verse would have really worked in theory.
Yes.
I'm just it blows my mind that it seems like every major first party IP was looped into this live service initiative because we had Spider-Man. Horizon is still theoretically coming.
Can we just cancel the Horizon one so I never have to play it?
I'm not looking forward to it. God of War. You know what I mean? Like The Last of Us. Every major
but The Last of Us multiplayer was going to be good. They just pooped it.
But they could have just dropped it as a mode with Last of Us 2.
I agree.
Yes.
And it still would have been fantastic. And they still would have made money. They still could have sold skins. They could have done all of these things. But they went all in on this live service initiative that has now clearly bit them in the ass.
Because they needed to do it 5 years ago.
Sure.
They needed to do it 7 years ago so that these games would have already been coming out.
Yes.
And
Matt, you always say the same thing to me. There's not enough pie.
There's not enough time. People don't have the bandwidth to support all of these things. And it's like, I think it was Grubb was also saying that, like, from what he's hearing, this is directly a result because of Concord. Like, apparently I saw him talk. I'm pretty sure it was Grubb was basically saying how, like, they were so like shell shocked by Concord. They thought they had it with that game.
Yeah.
They thought they were locked in.
They thought they were cooking.
And when it fell apart, this entire like sandcastle that they built.
Well, hold on. But the beta was bad.
But it was too late at that point, right? They'd already been working on it for years.
They thought people were just gonna like love it though.
Yeah,
they were banking on that.
Some of our friends, including Matt, everybody was just when we were playing it, they kept trying to tell me the game's good. I'm like, it's not good.
I still do think that it was.
There were bones. There were bones.
There were bones. I think there was. I think
there was. You know what?
I think it could have been
on
good.
A lot of things. That game was dying.
I mean, it did die, but I don't know. Court, where are you at?
So where I'm at is, and thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for years. There's so many live service games, and I think you already had Destiny. They got lucky with Helldivers 2.
Yep.
They did get lucky, but Helldivers 2 was different. It gave you something different. If you gave us a God of War live service game, people were just mad because they just want another God of War game. It is a single player story driven game. You don't need to pigeonhole it into this thing. It's a lot like the PS4 generation when every game needed a multiplayer. Now, some were terrible. I remember Tomb Raider's multiplayer so bad. Like, it just didn't even make any sense. Even Uncharted's wasn't good. But The Last of Us was.
Uncharted was at least fun enough.
It's still bad though.
It was fun enough.
It was also
bad
goofy.
Though.
There was lightheartedness.
But like Last of Us had this thing where it was like, oh my god, this survival thing that we've never had. Now other places like Rust and all these other games have come out and they've just taken it to the next level.
Yeah.
But you have so many games right now. Look at perfect example. Overwatch 2 came out and no one cared. And that game was huge, right? You have Marvel just came out. It's huge. Mind you, Snap just got canceled and everybody's pissed. But,
oh, it's coming back barely.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Trump
So
will
is TikTok.
The same guy that banned it is bringing it back and acting like he did something. But well, we just lost one viewer. It's just I find it so interesting that PlayStation this year, and I'm going to use a sports analogy, they dropped the football like way too many times this year. It was like every time they were on the 10-yard line, they threw it out of bounds. And it was just like, what are you doing? Like they had it. The roadmap was written in the PS4 generation. Everybody went to the Nintendo's so smart. Right. You brought it up before. You want to know Nintendo's smart? They know what they have and they just do it. They're like, you know what? You have these great Tentpole games. Let's just keep making them. Everybody loves them. There's nostalgia, but let's just evolve them, but don't muddy the waters. Don't make a multiplayer Mario. Don't do any of that stuff. Mario Maker makes sense. That's still staying within the ecosystem. That's just giving peers more of what they want. But Sony was like, how do we make more money off our single player story driven games? Even though everybody went to PlayStation for their single player story driven games. And they were like, well, let's do this generation. Everybody was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry, I swore for the first time.
No, we're good.
But
we're good.
What everybody, they were like, what are you doing?
So they're placing their chips everywhere.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense when we could have had a new Bloodborne, even though I wouldn't have played it, but like a new Uncharted. All these games would have killed and people would have played them. And instead, they wasted their time making these games that they think are just pachinko machines that they're just not, no one cares.
Let me ask you about this. And I want you both to give me like a genuine effort here, right?
Sure.
Like genuinely, and not just to make fun of it or to poo-poo it for the sake of poo-pooing it. What is a God of War live service game that actually would have worked? Let me and genuinely asking you this, like not as a joke, because for me, outside of it being like a full-scale MMO, like a full-scale action MMO where there's raids or you're taking on huge bosses together, or like but it could have done. There's plenty of big MMOs that nail that formula. But the thing is, as an MMO it takes a lot of time and it's a lot of money and it's a lot of recurring costs on top of it. MMOs work on PC because, I think people are more, they swallow the subscription models better on PC than they do on console. I think that's just generally speaking.
It's been around longer.
They just don't like their launchers.
They don't like their launchers.
Whiny babies.
But outside of it being a full-scale MMO, how does God of War live service work? And I genuinely am asking this because I can't see another answer outside of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't think it does, because the multiplayer doesn't make sense. And like, what does everybody want to be Kratos? And it's like, okay, the one person gets to be Kratos and gets to throw his axe, and everybody else is just like, I have a bow and arrow. I have mythical. Like, I don't. Matt, I agree. I think that was the problem. I think what they did is they did make a live service MMO because they have the Destiny team, and they were like, hey, Bungie, let's try and recreate Destiny. And people started playing, and everybody chose Kratos. And everybody else who didn't get Kratos was like, what the F, man? Like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if they were trying to make it somewhat appealing, you could maybe create your own god or demigod or some, and separate that into different play styles, to introduce kind of like
what's the story?
I don't know.
And
even with let's go on that Destiny thought, like they are clearly moving away from 10-year investments in story, and they're trying their hand at stories that are non-linear, that people can kind of like take bite-sized things of, and I think that it could work that way. I don't know that people are gonna put or would have put years of time into that service, that live
Mhm.
service game. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm grasping at straws, but I'm trying here. That
You're Mr. Live Service though. Like you love these things.
man, I do if they do it well.
Mhm.
But I think that honestly, as I've grown, as I've kind of diversified the palette here.
Don't become me. Don't be grumpy.
No, 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 no. I am liking experiences that that don't require me to keep
Welcome to the dark side.
Keep investing that time. That's coming from
You got a kid, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's easy to jump into a half an hour and play a story-driven game and then walk away.
Mhm.
And I can't be double, triple dipping anymore, right? And I do, right? I don't have time, and like why am I buying something to keep it in the library to never play it on said platform?
On top of the fact that like what my issue is, like, Marvel Rivals is a game that like I keep hopping into when I have time, but the time that I have now is so sparse that like I don't know if I want to spend the half an hour raging online. You know what I mean? I don't have the investment anymore to get good. I don't have it. I don't have the time.
Can we get like a time capsule right now?
Right?
And we open it next year when Matt isn't playing live service games and all he's playing is his JRPGs, which he loves, or small indie games that he can just jump in, play it for half an hour and walk away.
I mean, like that's what I've been though for a number of
me,
years.
Matt. You're becoming me.
And like what here? Okay, let's expand the conversation out here because we've been asking for the last couple of years, Court, you and I even more so. Where is first party this generation? Because the amount of first party new titles that have been few and far between, and if you take sequels out of that equation, that number is even smaller. Right? We keep asking every time there's a state of play, every time that there's a showcase, where is first party? And I think we have our answer. A lot of them were probably roped into this live service initiative that are now having their plugs pulled. How do you take Blue Point?
Yes.
How do you take Bend?
How do you put Blue Point's like the king of remakes, and they were like, hey.
And again, if they wanted to make a God of War game, let them do that. Why does it have to be a live service game?
Right.
So my question then becomes, is the rest of the generation effectively a bit of a wash when it comes to first party? Because whatever Bend and Bluepoint are doing, we're not going to see until PS6. Even launch PS6 is a wish and a jump and a skip and a hop to try and get to that. If we're assuming the next generation hits in 2028, right?
And supposedly they're just going to be hopping on and helping other studios finish off their first party.
So I have
the list. Wolverine sooner.
So I have the list here. Bend and Bluepoint are out of the equation. Fire Sprite, Fire Sprite did Call of the Mountain, Horizon Call of the Mountain, but they're probably
they all pretty much got fired anyways.
They're a smaller team anyway. Is Fire Sprite done?
Well, they got moved around.
To my understanding, they're still
there.
They're still alive.
Not really though. Check out their Twitters and stuff like that. Those people aren't happy.
Huh. Okay.
And that game was amazing, by the way. Call of the Mountain.
Fantastic.
Was fantastic.
Guerrilla, we know, are probably doing more Horizon. Haven is making fair games. Another live service. Blood is probably in the water.
Dude, that game's gonna get canned. That game looks terrible.
Was Housemarque making live service?
Better not be.
Returnal was
I don't like their games because I don't like that type of game. But don't do that to the people because they make them better than anybody.
Insomniac, we know, is doing Wolverine. We know they were making live service that got canned. Is there Spider-Man 2 DLC? Is there like
there is no standalone
Spider-Man
2 DLC. They already said that.
Is the standalone? Is the Venom game, if that still exists, is that coming?
The guy that was the voice is no longer here.
So they're gonna have to figure something out. Media Molecule has been doing Dreams for years. What were they doing? What are they doing?
That's the only studio that gets a pass for bringing out a bad game for years ago and not just sticking with hey, we have an amazing mascot game. You know what we're gonna do? Forget it.
We're gonna make a video game development game, which is a fantastic idea.
Yeah,
not in practice.
No.
To echo your point though, like PlayStation 5 is, in all senses an anniversary console.
Yes,
it's a tribute to all of the.
Well said.
It is the Astrobot is what PS5 embodies. It is honoring the past, but we didn't get much new
Because then
I think they're all working on. I think Matt's right. I think they were all working on other projects.
Right.
And if they didn't, like, I'll still say this till I'm blue in the face. They had 2 franchises they could have turned into live service games and then done single player, and everybody would have been happy, and people would have still played it. You have SOCOM, you giant idiots. You could have just made a SOCOM game, and because it doesn't matter who the characters are. The problem with PlayStation is your first party games, your characters, your main characters are so important to the fan base. So if you try and make a live service game out of that, and I guarantee this would happen with the guy, everybody wants to be that character. You could have probably done it with Infamous, but even then, it's like, no, don't. It doesn't make sense to me. SOCOM was there, and Killzone was there.
Yep.
Resistance, or even Resistance. Yeah. Yep. Those are your 3 you could have turned into live service, and you would have got people losing their freaking minds because the story in them weren't that good to begin with. And SOCOM was actually probably the most perfect one you could have done.
Yep.
And they just effed it up. So, and then you could have made a Siphon Filter. You could have done all these games that everybody else wants.
Sure.
Let's keep running down the list. Naughty Dog, we know, is Intergalactic, but I would assume that's 2027 at the earliest.
That game looks amazing.
Yeah, that's like last legs of the cycle.
Yeah, that'll be the last game. That'll be the last game on PS5.
Polyphony dropped Gran Turismo. They're not doing anything else right now. Nix's is their port house. They're not doing anything. San Diego has been doing MLB The Show. They're the rumored Uncharted studio. If that still exists, to what extent? Okay. Was that a live service game? Was Uncharted?
Oh my God! Please
do
don't.
We know that?
Oh,
do we know that? We
don't.
We
don't know that. You're right. We don't.
That
know that.
hurts my soul.
Santa Monica has been doing God of War. They dropped Ragnarok. There's nothing on the horizon for them.
Well, no, we know. No, we know that they're working on that space game.
Was that live service?
No, it wasn't. No, because if you watch what's her name when she left,
Alana Pierce.
She talks about how much story they put in and how much time they put into that game. It's not live service.
Is that this generation though?
I have no clue.
That's my question, right?
You're right.
Sucker Punch, Yote's around the corner. Asobi just dropped Astrobot. That's all of their major first-party developers.
Sure. Yeah.
So what is left for this generation outside of Wolverine,
Yote,
and Intergalactic as the swan song?
Yeah.
Right? What's left?
Can we say it right now? They fucked up. Because they put all their people on Go Make Me a VR2 game. So all you guys go make.
They put one of their people on VR2 game.
Yeah, and then they were like, everybody make a live service game, and then they realized, live service games take a really long time to make, and they keep dying. Because think about it, Naughty Dog was working on The Last of Us DLC factions for forever, wasting their time.
Yep,
they could have done DLC for some. They could have done anything.
They could have made the next Uncharted if they really wanted to. They could have started another IP. They could have had worked in The Last of Us Part 3 already in the pipeline. There's so much time and effort wasted. And I said this to
we haven't even got another Ratchet. I want another Ratchet.
Where's Infamous? Where are all these titles that people are asking for? And I said this to Court before we started. But PlayStation's saving grace this generation was that Xbox stumbled and face planted into this generation.
Correct.
And have now become essentially a publisher, right?
Sure.
If Xbox had fired on all cylinders, they could have taken this generation or have made PlayStation pivot sooner, like they did in the PS3 era with the 360. If Xbox came into this generation with 360 level confidence and with the first party titles to back them up, if they had come into this generation,
if Infinite was good, if Halo Infinite was good,
they would have been. They could have pulled ahead, And like that is their major saving grace. Nintendo is uninterested in what PlayStation and Xbox do. They don't care
because they keep doing what it's like
because it works.
This is what doesn't make sense. If you remember PlayStation 3 generation, Bat, you just hit the nail on the head. At the end of the PlayStation 3 generation, they started hitting home run after home run. They were like, you know what?
Sure.
Let's go back to the roots. Here's all these first party games. Let's just kill it. First party story driven. Boom, 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 boom. PlayStation 4. They were like, nope. Let's worry about all our online. Get everybody online. They started. We'll promote indie games, but they started doing it again where they got a little pompous. PlayStation 4, great games, but near the end of it, they started getting pompous again. Every game needed a multiplayer. Let's figure out a way to put a multiplayer in this game. And then PS5, they were like, we're gonna have every live service game and keep everybody to get their money. When they're still going to get our money. We're still going to buy everything. Just give us our single player games. Well, that's why we go to you, PlayStation, for our single player story driven games. People love them. There's a reason Astrobot won Game of the Year and everybody liked it, because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a single player game.
Yes.
Yep. It's a smaller single player game. You know what I mean? It is a budget title. It's not even full price.
Sure.
So that's what my question is that, like, I'm sure they have one or two other games left in the hopper that we don't know about that they'll come out. Maybe Uncharted exists, the Horizon MMO or the Horizon Online game. It's theoretically still a thing. But like, I feel like the rest of this generation is just going to be kind of like a slow petering out. There's still plenty of fantastic games. There's still plenty of fantastic third-party stuff. No doubt in my mind. But first party is going to be
Horizon wasn't even released on the PS5 exclusively.
Nope.
Correct.
So what do we have exclusive? Don't count Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 was.
Spider-Man 2 was. Miles Morales wasn't.
Nope.
God of War was in the launch trailer for
Horizon.
The PS5.
Horizon wasn't, but the DLC was.
I don't count it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that you're just like, well, I don't know if we can count that one. So there's a lot of that.
Like Returnal was
The Last of Us remastered.
But The Last of Us Part 1, sure, but that's still
but I'm not counting it.
That's what I mean, right?
A real thing.
Right.
Because that's what they did. I think they started realizing the live service wasn't going to work, and that's where we got all these remasters.
I don't know if they were. I think the live service was taking longer than they expected, so we started getting remasters. I think they just are now learning that the live service didn't work. I think Concord was a slap in the face that they were like, it was
So
we're too late.
The greatest thing that's ever happened for me, because thank you God.
So theoretically, the PS6 generation will hopefully be like the PS4, because like, you're right, Court, to the extent of that, like there was plenty of like weird online stuff for the PS4, but we also got so many new. We got so much new IP. We got so much new IP in the PS4 generation.
We got Ghost of Tsushima,
Horizon. The Last of Us kind of straddled the line at the end of PS3, beginning of PS4, but like there was so much there, and on top of, like you were saying, Court, so much support for indies. And now it's kind of like, what is the rest of this generation going to be? But now the games that will come will be fantastic. I don't
have their identity back.
Yep.
PlayStation used to be the place to play. It was like literally their slogan. Bring it back. They went to greatness awaits, and we didn't. We waited.
We're still waiting. Yeah.
We're still waiting.
Nothing happened, man.
If they took a page out of Nintendo's attitude book, like let's just do our shit, then I think that, I think that they would be a little bit more successful. But they're so ambitious in the competition.
I call that greed. Just, you can call it what
sure,
it is.
Sure. Exactly. Like they're trying to make more money and put their chips on everything else, that everything feels diluted for the consumer.
You know what's going to be really funny? The biggest games are going to be in the back half of this life cycle will be the Xbox first party games. Straight up. If Fable hits, South of Midnight, Indiana Jones, like there's so many incredible looking games that Xbox.
Do you think we'll get South of Midnight? Yeah,
I think so.
I hope so. That game looks great.
So. The new Gears of War, right? Yeah. There's so much that Xbox is now doing.
I have a question for you guys. Since Xbox is technically a publisher, sorry for Xbox people that are listening to it, or if you do an Xbox podcast, like just you might as well be doing an EA podcast, because that's what you've become. But I need you. I want to ask this question. Is Xbox going to be like a Ubisoft where the game goes on sale in 2 months? Like, should I wait? Or
the thing is, they already have that with Game Pass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they'll probably put the game on sale early. That's what I'm thinking.
Could be
right.
They'll try and get their 2 months worth of it, like Ubi does, and then, like as I always say to anybody, I'm like, I'm going to buy the new Assassin's Creed. I'm like, if you don't need it on day one, just wait 2 months.
Just wait.
Yep, and it'll be at least.
Like, I want it on day one. Shadows looks amazing. I'm in. From
Shadows.
I'm in.
Ambitious, and I will be playing it.
Yes, I was going to
say I will be too. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll talk more about the generation as it happens, but I just feel like
I think you hit the nail on the head, Matt.
Yeah.
I am now doubting my pro purchase just a smidge, because I thought they had more in the hopper, and I think I'm not saying that I regret it, but it's just one of those things where it's just like the PS6 is going to be the next major milestone part.
I want to ask you, Matt, since do you still have both PS5s or just the one?
No, I traded my PS5 in for the Pro.
Okay, so for me, I have a hard time playing on my base PS5 or my PS5 Pro because I know it looks better on the Pro.
Right.
Yep.
It's really hard for me because
You're gonna
they
default.
upscale the PS4 games, right? So they run better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I know.
The hardware makes sense.
Hardware makes sense. Let's hit one last news story to close out because we have a question around it coming from us over here at Console Creatures. But Until Dawn gets its first trailer for its movie adaptation. Going to the 10th anniversary of Until Dawn's original release on PS4, Sony has released the first trailer of the game's upcoming film adaptation, which is set to hit theaters this April. I'm not going to play it because it's graphic and stuff. But yeah, I did you guys watch this? Because I'm going to bring in Nagachaka. What are your thoughts on the Until Dawn movie trailer since the trailer dropped this week? I had zero hype about this movie. I'm not a horror movie person. I am much more interested in it now than I was. I think they're actually taking what Until Dawn is and using it in an interesting way. Is this movie going to be the best movie this year? No. Could it actually be a fun video game adaptation? I think so.
I think so.
so cool. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah,
I have
there's a chunk of people that like streamed this game, and the experience as a group of people kind of watching another group of people make these decisions and seeing the outcome of those decisions, that was the allure. And that was the talking point of the game, that there were so many different choices that you could make. And so that's why I think that I'm more invested in it than I thought I would be. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, cool. And I thought immediately, I was like, oh, this person, my friend, my community, we would want to actually experience this together. So I think it's good. I think it's a good thing.
Court?
I finally figured out what this generation is.
What?
This generation is Sony selling us hardware because they've sold us a poop ton. Trying to make live service games and failing. And putting out movie and TV adaptations.
Yep. Oh, lots of that.
Yep. I actually am very glad that this isn't following the game. I feel like the game already had like actual.
It's its own thing.
Actual is not the right word.
Well, no, the one guy's in it.
They had movie and TV actors. And
the one guy's in it. The guy with the voice.
Oh, there's a bunch. Oh, you mean in the movie?
In the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
So like, I'm glad that it's not a one-to-one retelling. I'm glad that they're taking the idea of it and making it into something new. But I think you're right, Court. I'm hoping that the PS6 will eventually be a course correction, and this will be the bedrock from which they learn from.
Yes.
I'm hoping all of these mistakes that they've made this generation will lead to better hardware, to stuff. Because again, by all accounts, they were even surprised by how well the Portal sold. So,
yeah,
it's a prototype. It is definitely a prototype.
100%.
Like Rice, if Matt is right, or even I'm right, or even in 50% right, don't buy a Portal.
Yeah, that's where I've landed at this episode.
Like, don't buy a Portal. Matt bought it because it was a very dirt cheap deal, and he loves his
gadgets.
I love my gadgets.
He's a gadget guy,
and I am really liking it.
What did I do?
You said you liked it too.
I had it for a week, and I thought the thing was fantastic. But I called Matt, and I did a pros and cons letter with. I was driving my car, and I called him, and I was like, this, and I went through it, and he's like, dude, just take it back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can play it on my iPad, and like, I'm like, I don't have the time because my kid is larger and runs around. I just didn't have the time for that thing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that brings us to the end of this week's episode, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. It's not all doom and gloom. There's plenty of good things to come. It's just it's an interesting situation that we're finding ourselves kicking off 2025. And
the reality.
That's the reality of it all. But Rice, my boy, where can people find more of you?
Absolutely. Go find me on my Linktree /Rice BOYYY TV. Interact with me on socials. We gonna do some streaming and some content stuffs and just some fun stuff, guys. I'm going back to my roots here, and I'm just having fun. Just having fun. You know, not putting pressure on what to play.
Not adding us on Pokemon.
Yeah. Go check out my latest reel /TikTok /post or whatever.
That's the best part. He's still people who are listening. We are still not friends with him.
Yeah. I think at this point he's just doing it for the sake of
doing it. I'm one card away, by the way, finally to getting the 150, Matt. I pulled it in a pack today. I'm one card away. I just been opening Charizard packs for like 2 weeks now.
You're almost there. You're so close, Court. You're so close, Court. And if people wanted to keep up with your endeavors, where could they do so?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can find me on the internet at Courtlawn. You can find me here. Find me every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock on 3 Dads and a Console.
Go check Cord out in all those places. Of course, you can find myself here each and every week. You can find my writing over at Console Creatures. And but why though? I have a lot of stuff coming, so prepare thyselves for lots of reading and a couple videos. So stay locked and loaded, folks. Everybody, stay safe, be warm. The next few days.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Just send us a screenshot in our chat. Also, for the people who are listening, AC Shadows previews come out next week.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
We'll be talking about that.
Check out Console Creatures.
Yep.
We'll be talking about it on our thing, but check out Console Creatures. It wasn't me. I did not play the game. I'm just saying it. That just go check it out.
Yep. There's stuff coming. Prepare thyself. You better, folks. Everybody be well, stay warm. Peace and love, everyone. We'll see you next week. Peace out.